Sometimes being prosperous feels so out of reach, like a mountain too high to climb. Seems like it's an impossible feat. I can tell how you're hurting. I can even tell how sad you feel. Take a look around, there's so much love to be found. That's what's really real. When you give with love, live your life with love, have faith, be in the flow. That's how life changes and grows. When you give with love, live your life with love. When you give, you will receive. I truly believe that's real prosperity. Well, sometimes does your life feel like one great big pill you gotta pay? And it's always gonna be that way. It's never gonna change, but you can change the way you're thinking. It'll change the way that you feel. Then take a look around. There's so much love to be found. That's what's really real. When you give with love, live your life with love, have a little faith, be in the flow. That's how we all change and grow. When you give, you will receive. You know that's what we all believe is true and real prosperity. When you give with love, live your life with love, have faith, be in the flow. That's when life changes, and that's how we grow. When you give, you will receive. That's what I truly believe is true and real prosperity. When you give, you will receive. That's what I believe is true prosperity.
Please join me in prayer. And we are prosperous on this beautiful first Sunday of the month of October in 2024. we are living, loving, and prospering in all that we say, do, all that we feel. And we are very grateful for everyone that's come together here this day to bring messages of love and hope and to celebrate our oneness. And we're grateful for everyone who's come together to make this possible. For our musician, Karen Cars. We're so grateful for Travis, our AV and tech monitor. We are very grateful for our ushers. We're so grateful for our hospitality team who are here. All those who come together tirelessly, our practitioners, working with New Dawn to create a world that works for everyone. I know that what is spoken here today through our guest, Reverend Jan, who's not really a guest, she has come home, and we are so grateful that Spirit continues to radiate through her and bring us messages for our learning and our growth and our evolution. And we know this is what's going to take place today. We're so grateful for that. And with a heart filled with gratitude, I release these words into that law that knows how to make it, shape it, and create all the good there is, everywhere, at all times. I release these words in the divine law where they're already done in that universal mind, in that space that fills everywhere. I let this go, I let it be. Together we affirm, and so it is. I have words of inspiration, and I know they'll be pithy because I didn't create them. Not that my words are bad, but these people have created great things. Wisdom of the ages. Our first words of inspiration come from Marian Nemeth. Being willing could be the one act of being. It calls forth who you are in your heart and transcends the chattering of monkey mind. From Al-Anon World Services. Just for today, I will exercise my soul in 3 ways. I will do a good turn for someone and not be found out. If anyone knows of it, it will not count. I will do 2 things I don't want to do just for exercise. I will not show anyone that my feelings are hurt. They may be hurt, but today I won't show that. From our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. When we trust the universe, we will be happy, prosperous, and well. Now, I know most of you recognize that wonderful smile there. What can I say about Reverend Jan? She doesn't really need an introduction to those of us that know her, but I want to describe a word that I think just comes to mind when I look at her is resilience. It's resilience, you know. It wasn't easy for her to come here to us. The whole process was a little messy. It was a little scary, but she stepped right up, stepped right in. And this is the greatest lesson that I've received from her. Is to step up and step in, even if you don't know how you're going to do it, even if it looks like the odds are a little bit against you. And we've had that gift for many years here. And she taught some of us. She was my teacher at practitioner class. I'm sorry our other teacher, Claudine, wasn't able to be here. But I've learned a lot and received a lot. And it's just been a real joy to know you and learn from you. And we're just so grateful for all the things you've given us here at New Dawn. And it's really wonderful that you've come home to us. So I'm going to stop yapping and let you come up here and do what you do.
Thank you. It is good to be here. It is good to be. When Russell got started about what a challenge it was to get here, I thought, did I tell him about the traffic this morning? And then I realized you were talking about when I became the senior minister here. 6 years ago, this past week, was the date. And thank you for all you had to say. I appreciate it. And thank you all for welcoming me back. I'm thrilled to be here. You know, when I was a kid and we lived in Alaska, I remember being at the commissary with my mother, and as we usually did, we went shopping, and she would dig in her purse and dig out some scrap piece of paper and hand it to me with a pen, and I would write down every single price of every single item that we put in the grocery cart. And I would give her information throughout the store as to how much money we were spending. And I never thought anything about it at all. It didn't mean anything to me, till one day, Mom stopped the cart in the center of the aisle, and she said, "You know what I want?" I thought, no, Mom. She said, "I want to go to the grocery store someday and not have to write down how much money I'm spending. I want to go shopping and spend as much money as I want and buy as many things as I want." And that was the first idea, the first concept I got that maybe we didn't have a lot of money. We always had food on the table, I had clothes, we always had gas in the car. But my mother began to have this chatter off to the side about lack. And so as we talk about this, as I go into this lesson today, as I go into this message, I want you to think about some of those messages you got as kids. Because I don't care how much work you've done, they're still chatting away. And every now and then it catches us. Every now and then that idea of not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, there isn't enough, shows up and it creeps in and it starts to impact us in our daily lives and our consciousness. So what I've been told is that this month we are going to be looking at the idea of prosperity. And so I put together this talk today with a couple of components that I think will help us shift a little bit of some of the thinking that we may have had in the past. There was no name on this quote, so I'm sure it was anonymous. We all know anonymous. The space in which we live should be for the person we are becoming now, not the person we were in the past. So when I step into this live, love, prosper context today, I want to look at living. How are we living? Are we living in the present moment? Or are we constantly reaching back, trying to grab some security, some idea of something in the past? We have to let that go. The past brought you here. Everything, good, bad, and ugly, that has happened to you in your life has brought you to where you are right now. And you have power in this moment to decide what to do about that. You have the power, each one of us does, to take this and go forward and create something new, better, greater, or to kind of fall into that slump and kind of try to reiterate maybe what we did in the past. Earth is a school. When we came to this planet, we came here to learn and to grow and to evolve. That was it. There was nothing else really asked of us. Learn, love, evolve. And as we learn these lessons, we learn greater lessons and greater lessons. And some of us if you follow my example in some of my life, decided that learning them the hard way was the best way. I don't know where that came from. I'm really working still today to let go of that. But sometimes I really make it difficult. And maybe some of you do too. If we want to grow, we have to let go of the past. It's that simple. You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought, I don't remember a time, and I encourage you to just kind of go here with me for a second, a time in high school. So let's say, I don't know, you're in biology class or American history, or maybe you're just in the student union and chatting with your friends. But I don't remember a single solitary time when I said, dang, I wish I could go back to kindergarten. I wish I could walk in the room and somebody would hand me color crayons and a cool picture, and I'd learn the alphabet all over again, and we'd have a whole lot of recess and fun. No, we don't do that. We've never done that. Don't do that to yourself now. Sure, have there been great things that happened to us in the past? Were there some really wonderful, wonderful things that transpired? Yeah. Cherish those. Remember those. Were there some horrific things? Sure. Forgive those. Let them go. And take your time and attention and turn it to the now. The last time I was here speaking with all of you was the last Sunday in February of this year. And you gave me so much love. When I walked out these doors that day, I just felt like that I was on top of the world. Everything just meant so much to me. And I kind of knew where I was going, but I kind of didn't. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I had an idea. I had a plan. And what I didn't realize at the time was I had latched onto that plan so tightly that I couldn't even imagine anything else happening for me. And I prayed about it. And you know how we pray? We pray this or something better. And I remember thinking, as I was looking at moving into another center down in the southern part of the state, I remember thinking, I can't even imagine something better. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. There's nothing better for me. Please don't fall into that trap. Because when the day came and I discovered that I wasn't going to have what I thought I was going to have, I was stunned. I was shocked. I was brokenhearted. And I had to go through some serious internal work, and I knew I did. After the shock wore off a little bit, I had to go into that place of what is going on with me, and what was going on that I just decided that this was going to be my life. And I was telling God, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. And you know, it's a funny thing. When I didn't get the position at another center, and I thought, how am I going to be a minister? How am I going to be a minister if I don't have a group of people? And then these wonderful words that I spoke to all of you, and I know you'll remember them, a couple of years ago. It was right before that wonderful gift we received called the pandemic. And I remember telling you, we've got to get outside the box. We've got to get outside the building. Our work isn't in here. Our work is out there. And Spirit said, here you go. You're not contained in a building. You are not restricted in any way. Go do your work. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can do that. And so here's what I started doing. I started looking out there. What's out there for me to do? What does the world need for me to do? How can I show up in all my greatness and glory and whatever, and be this amazing minister and minister to the people without having a specific spiritual community? And I got a little crazy. In fact, I got a lot crazy. And then one evening, I was sitting on my bed, and a man whose quote I have used over and over and over for years, it was like he walked into the room. And Howard Thurman said this to me. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So as we look at this piece of live, how are you living your life? How are you living your life? I was looking for something to do out there, and I needed to go in here and figure out what it is I love, what it is I enjoy, what it is I'm good at. What is my passion? What is my purpose? And every single thing in my world shifted in that moment. And just in case it hadn't, he showed up again the next morning when I got up and walked in the house and said the same darn thing. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it. Don't ask what the world needs. Go within. When I'm talking about living your life, how we can live, we have to look inside. You know, Wayne Dyer said something once, and I thought it was kind of corny, but then I thought, you know what, it made sense. He said, we were created with our eyes facing the wrong direction. We're always looking out there, and we need to be looking in here. And as soon as I got that, everything in my world started to resonate. And for a time, I was sitting around with not much to do because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And as soon as I got that figured out, I started writing again. I started creating again. I got calls to go do some speaking engagements. I had people calling me for coaching sessions. And things just started to move, and things started to shift. When I was looking out there, I was running around, seriously. I live in the Tri-Lakes area. Some of you know where that is, Monument, Palmer Lake. I live in Palmer Lake. The Woodmore area, it's just north of Colorado Springs. I'm back against the mountains. We've got about 3,800 people in our town. I love it. I just love it. Lots of animals, wild stuff, running around. Lots of forest land. I just love it. But when I was looking out there, and I was talking to all these nonprofits, what can I do to support you? How can I help bring maybe your nonprofit to the Palmer Lake area? Maybe I need to start my own center. Maybe I need to create a special focus ministry. I mean, I had lists and lists of stuff on my dining room table so that every morning I couldn't miss it. I had to sit down and look at all of these lists of all of these things I could do. And you know how my body felt when I did that? It felt like I had a rock right here. And I kept thinking, as soon as I get busy, that'll go away. No, as soon as I realized that this is the path for me, it completely dissolved. As soon as I realized that it's what is good for me, what is my purpose, what is my desire, that's how I want to live, that's how I choose to live. I just spent a weekend in Arizona with Reverend Tracy Herrick, who just was installed by her center at Centers for Spiritual Living Prescott. And I was basically, and I'm her sponsor. I'm as a new minister, she's a new minister, I'm her sponsor, and I coached her through the entire weekend. And I didn't boss her around. I didn't tell her what to do. I was there to support her. And that's something I found out that I absolutely love, is supporting new ministers. Working with a minister who has a community, who's trying to figure it out, who's trying to engage and work through all those things. And it was such a rich experience. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on too, but you know, that kind of happens, you know, when we get interacting with a lot of people. So what I want you to think about is, how are you living? Did you get disappointed? Because I did. Big time. I thought I was going back to my home, the place where I first started learning about this philosophy. And when I realized I wasn't going back there, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. What about you? How are you living your life? And are you aware of what those things are that make you come alive? What is it that is inside of you, bubbling up and guiding you and supporting you in being all that you can be? I have this quote from Abraham Hicks. Never mind what is. Imagine it the way you want it to be so that your vibration is a match to your desire. When your vibration is a match to your desire, all things in your experience will gravitate to meet that match every time. Every time. When I crashed and burned, which is the terminology I use for being disappointed, my vibrational level kind of went, I kind of flatlined a little bit. I couldn't get motivated. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to people, which is absolutely bizarre for me because I'm such a social person. But I knew that even though things didn't feel like what they needed to feel like, I had to do some work. I had to go within and figure this out. When we operate at a vibrational level that is where we're supposed to operate, life shows up for us in incredible ways. There isn't any good or bad. There isn't any wrong or right. There is only a high vibration and a low vibration. And what we want to look at when we're living our life is, what are we doing? Are we trying to drag these guys who don't get it along with us? Are we expending all this energy on individuals who don't get it, can't get it, don't want to get it? Or are we working our own work to lift our own vibration? I have prayed like I've never prayed before. And what I discovered in my prayer work was, I don't have to tell God what I need. Don't we say that God is all-knowing? I was giving God a list every single day. And all of a sudden one day I thought, wait a second. I am praying to align my mind with the awareness of what I know Spirit is all about in my life. That's why I pray. I'm not telling God anything. God already knows. Another huge shift for me. And each time we make these shifts in our life, we raise that vibrational energy, that level within us. When we tune in to living our best life, we focus on our needs and our desires. Our vibrational level raises, and as that happens, good flows to us. Why? Why does that happen? Because you've opened up the channels for it to come to you. Because the only thing that kept it from coming to you before was you were blocking it yourself. I was blocking my own good. And when I make a change in my life, when I look at something shifting, I do it big. I do it big. A whole lot of people knew a whole lot about what was going on. And a whole lot of people were calling me to tell me they could not believe what happened. A whole lot of people were reaching, and I can't even imagine being on a public platform. Let's see, we won't go into politics. Let's go into, I saw an Ellen DeGeneres special last night. First time she's back on stage in over 2 years. And I listened to her talk about being fired and the chatter that happened and why she had to give up her show and all the things that have transpired with her. And I'm thinking, I'm so grateful I'm not Ellen DeGeneres. And I didn't have to be out there in the public eye to that degree. That's tough. That's a hard place to be. Lao Tzu gives us this quote. Being deeply loved gives you strength. Loving deeply gives you courage. So the first thing we have to do is look at how we're living our life. How are you living your life? Are you doing what you need to do? Are you doing the things that move you and motivate you and excite you? I have a whole lot of friends who are retired. And they're traveling and they're having a good time, and I'm watching them and I'm thinking, yeah, no, I don't think, no. They're like in motorhomes for hours and days and driving, and then they're camping outside and they're just loving it. And I'm thinking, well, yay, you. I don't want to go there yet. I'm not ready for that yet. Someone asked me a couple months ago, how's retirement? I said, I didn't think I retired. I'm not done yet. I still want to do work. I still want to be active in the arena that I'm in. Not to say that they're not active. I'm not saying that. I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that that's not where I'm at. So now we look at the idea of love. How we love is such a huge component of how we live. How do you love? Do you love unconditionally? Do you do what you can to love freely all the time? Do you take the time you need every single day to love yourself? Because it starts here. Again, it starts here. We have to go within and look at that whole place. Or do we love people and we put conditions on it? Again, I encourage you to just consider for a moment going back to childhood. If you didn't clean your room, or make your bed, or do the chores that you were tasked to do, you might have been punished to some degree. You might have been scolded. You might have thought someone was withholding their love from you because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And unfortunately, for many of us, we grow into adulthood and we think that's what we're supposed to do. And we start withholding our love from others because we want them to either love us first or do what we need them to do. This is big. This is big on so many levels. You can see it everywhere in the world today. How are you loving? Are you giving freely? Are you doing the tasks that need to be done freely, joyfully, taking into consideration that you get to take care of body first, your body first? Do you do things for a reason? Do you want to be acknowledged for being awesome? I always said I didn't care about the money, I just wanted to see my name in lights. I remember the first training book I helped create, and my name was inside the cover of the training book, and I thought, oh man, I've arrived. I was clueless. But anyway, I thought that was a big deal. And we want to be appreciated. Yes, we want to be appreciated, but that can't be your motivating factor. If you are doing it just to get the acknowledgement, if you are getting it just to get the accolades, if you are doing it just so everyone else can see you and go, oh my gosh, that person's amazing. Wrong reason. When we love freely, we step in out of love and compassion to support, to love others, to give. And sometimes that gift is action. Sometimes that gift is a smile or a hug. Sometimes that gift is time to just sit and be with that person. Sometimes that gift is money. But we have to give it freely and allow it to just reciprocate. It's called the law of reciprocity. As we give, we receive. That's how that works. And so if we're holding back, if we're restricting it, if we're withholding because we want someone to do something a certain way, those things are going to show up in our world as well. Now, I'm not talking about situations where there was trauma or abuse. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about what is in our heart and what do we want to create and how do we want to go about creating it. God's love for us is unconditional. There are some religions out there that believe that God is keeping score. No, he's not. No, it's not. There is no scoreboard. There is no big ledger with black marks by your name. When I was in grade school and high school and messing up pretty regular. No. Spirit wants us to be happy. Spirit wants us to love and be loved. That's the whole piece. That's the whole piece. So think about it. When was the last time you said to someone, I love you? Without any need to hear that phrase returned to you. Without any desire for it to come back to you in that moment. Loving freely. When I was in Arizona last weekend, Reverend Tracy rented an Airbnb, and I lived with her and her family for a couple of days. Let's see, there were 9 of us in the house. When I left, and I hugged her adult sons and their girlfriends goodbye, and Tracy and her husband, I told every single one of them, I love you. I couldn't tell you if they said anything back or not because I wasn't listening. I wanted to share what was in my heart. And that's how we love. And that's how we make this world a better place. I don't need to know your political affiliation. I don't need to know where you grew up or where that accent came from. I don't need to know why in the world you took that job. Oh my gosh, were you crazy? No, I can just love you. I can just love you. One of my favorites, Oscar Wilde, says, to give and not expect return, that is what lies at the heart of love. That's it. That's it. That's such a huge key. Sometimes we give love and then sometimes we take it away. Sometimes we walk away when we don't get what we wanted. Reminds me of back in school, grade school, kindergarten, preschool, when somebody would take all the toys out of the sandbox and say, I'm taking my stuff and going home. That's not the world we want to live in anymore. That's not the way we want to live. That's not the way we choose to love. So the other thing that I've learned over the past few months, which has been really huge for me, is the art of surrender. I practice the art of surrender every single day. I read Kurt Blackson's book a couple of months ago, I think it was early June, The Magic of Surrender, one of the most phenomenal books I've ever read. I cried through every single page for the first 120 pages because it was ripping open my heart and showing me exactly what I had been doing wrong. And I started doing surrender prayers. In the 5 Gifts for Abundant Living by Diane Harmony, I believe that's Diane Harmony's book, she talks about a phrase that we used to say 108 times a day. I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. I had forgotten that phrase for a very long time, but it showed back up the last couple of months, and I say it all the time. Surrender. I surrender. When a relationship is uncomfortable, I can surrender to the discomfort. I don't have to force anything to change. Here's a secret. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. I'm not here to change any of you. I'm not even here to change any of my family members. I'm not even here to change my 9-year-old grandson. That would be a lesson in futility for certain, because he's pretty strong-willed. Not my job. And you can look at that the same way. It's not your job to change anyone but yourself if there is a need for change. So we want to take what feels right in this teaching, as we talk about it all the time. Listen what works, what fits for you, what sounds like an idea, a nugget you can take with you. Let the rest of it go. Let the rest of it go. Let us turn our hearts to letting go of expectation and just surrendering. When I hit Castle Rock this morning and the traffic came to a dead stop and I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, there's a lot of cars up there and this doesn't look good. And I just said, I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. I didn't have to do anything about it. I didn't have to freak out. Found another song on my Spotify to listen to and started singing to the radio or singing to the music. Yeah. Enjoy life. The quote that Russell shared a while ago, be happy. I don't think any one of us can be happy when we're critiquing the rest of the world and all of the stuff that they've done or haven't done. When they don't say something the way I'd like them to say it, when they don't look the way I want them to look, If I'm watching television, I change the channel. If I'm interacting with someone, I take a deep breath, I pause, I bless the situation, and when the time is right, I walk away. And I walk away in love, in love. So let's expect nothing in return, not even that acknowledgement. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said this: think, see, and feel activity. Radiate life. Feel there is that within which is the center and circumference of the universe. There is that within each one of us which is the center and circumference of the universe. Radiate life. He goes on to say this in the Science of Mind textbook: nothing is real unless we make it real. How do you make it real? Talk about it. You call one of your buddies, and then they start to talk about it. And you start to build a case. Isn't that what we do? Nothing can touch us unless we let it touch us. Refuse to have the feelings hurt. Refuse to accept anyone's condemnation. In the independence of your own mentality, believe and feel that you are wonderful. This is not conceit. This is the truth. You are wonderful, each one of us. What can be more wonderful than the manifestation of the infinite mind? And through all of this, as we lift this vibration, as we live, as we're excited, as we're active, as we're loving, as we're doing all this loving, wonderful stuff, loving self unconditionally, no beat up, no criticism, and loving, sending that out to the world, we start to prosper. It just shows up. It flows down upon us. It's shed upon us. It is given to us. I was reminded the other day of the Old Testament when and excuse me if I misquote any of this, but the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness for 40 days and nights. I think they'd gotten into trouble, but I can't remember for sure. But anyway, they were hungry. They were asked to worship. They were asked to pray. What happened? Manna fell from heaven and they were fed. Lift your vibration up and know that you are wonderful, that you are beautiful, that you are incredible and capable. And allow yourself to be showered with rich life and prosperity. So let's pay attention this week to how we're living. How are you feeling when you get out of bed? What are you doing when you go to bed? Is it impacting the way you feel in the morning? It's all about the body, mind, and spirit. I have changed a lot of my personal practices. Most of it had to do with chocolate, but I noticed how I felt in the morning if I ate chocolate at night, late at night. I can still eat it earlier in the day. You know, it's called discipline, right? You got to just figure out. Anyway, pay attention to how we're living. Pay attention to how we're loving. How am I loving others? Am I getting snippy? Am I losing my cool? Am I getting kind of grumpy? Am I talking poorly? Am I complaining about my family that I wanted to be so close to that I moved close to them? I love being close to my family members, seeing my oldest son every single day, my grandson, my youngest grandson every single day. My oldest grandson got married a couple of weekends ago. It's been amazing. It's been incredible. When I give freely, I receive in the same context. It doesn't matter what I give. It comes back to me. It comes back to all of us. We don't need to fear that we can't afford it or that we're going to lose it. We can trust the process. We can trust in the law. And we know that God knows what we need. And we will be taken care of as long as we continue to live and support ourselves in raising that vibrational level. So one thing I want to leave you with today, keep this in mind. There is a power in the universe that is greater than any of us. It is within each of us, and we can use it. That was a remake of an Ernest Holmes quote. There is a power. It's your power. It's my power. And we can use it. And we are promised this. And through this promise, we know absolutely this is how it works. This is how it works. Pray with me. As we breathe into this moment, this space, this time, right here and right now, we know that we are one with this power, that this power is within us, it surrounds us, it fills us. It is source, guiding us, if we but listen. This God power, this Godness that is everywhere present, is right here, right now, with each and every one of us, surrounding us, filling us. How perfect is that? There's nothing we need to ask for. There's nothing more we need to do, but just allow this to work through us and focus on our purpose and how we live our lives and love freely and allow the prosperity to come, because that's exactly how God promised it to us. And so what I know for each and every one of us right here, right now, is that we know that we are one. We know that we are connected one with another. We are united in this powerful place of God's Spirit being truth, love, light. And as we walk away from this place today, may we seek out better ways to live richly, actively. May we look at more and more ways to love self and take care of self and turn that love outward to others, sharing that beautiful, incredible, unconditional love with the world, changing the planet so that we have a place that works for all, not just all people, all animals, all plants, all of it. This is how we create a better world for all. Each one of us gets to participate. And so I know that each and every person here and each and every person who hears this message this week is blessed by God. And that blessing surrounds us and fills us and carries over to everyone and surrounds this planet. All people everywhere are blessed by God. It's good and it's perfect. And so knowing this, I just give thanks. I give thanks to be in this place, to be in this space, to be who I am, to be living life how I am. I give thanks for each and every person here in the New Dawn community and the work that is being done in Aurora, Colorado. Oh, it's good and perfect. And so we just let this go, knowing that the divine has already got it, has already got it. We let go, we let God, and together we say, and so it is.
I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, oh, healthy, you betcha, wealthy, and wise. I can't believe it, you just started singing. I love you guys. A little bird told me life is so sweet, you know it's true. When I listen to her song, I feel so complete. 'Cause I have all the keys to love, joy, and peace. The power is infinite. And love will increase. time. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and hey, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, yes, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yeah, happy,